one night we'll bring a couple bottles of wine and you give us a demo on how to butcher deer. He was like, yeah.
Fucking perfect.
So it was sick. You know what I mean? We do shit like that.
Yeah.
And so it was, it made it a really unique place. And, I'm really grateful that Tony was open enough to, any crazy idea I brought him.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, okay.
Did you have any cooks of yours that came out of there and are doing things right now?
Yes.
Out in the world?
So, yeah. Really, it's really cool. One of two of my cooks actually, they just opened a place on a beach in Italy. Because one of them grew up in Florence, and
good for them.
They, at the end of the pandemic, they were trying to get back there, and so this cook, he was my sous chef actually, Chris Tonfi, and his girlfriend Steph Florence. They both worked for me. And they left. They went other places. But Chris's mom's from Jersey, and then his dad's Italian, so he grew up in Florence or outside of Florence. But when I went to Italy, I stayed with his parents at his home.
Oh, sweet!
And so I'm close with his family, and they're amazing, amazing people. But so I talked to his mom, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we're looking for a place for them." So it was like a month ago. They opened this little place, and I can't wait to go.
That's so awesome. What's it called?
It's called oh my god, what's it called? I can't remember. It's in Italian, and I can't remember the name. It's like Umbio, I think, like UMBIO.
UMBIO.
But they're doing that. One of my old cooks is Tony left. He moved to Nashville. He opened a restaurant called Yolan there.
Okay.
And two of my old cooks are running that now. One of them's the chef de cuisine.
All right.
And one of them's the sous chef there. So I'm super proud of them. And they're still out there growing and doing more things, and it's just it's the coolest. One of my old cooks. So this is one of my favorites because the first guy I worked for, Ray Villalobos, he's another Southside guy. He was super young chef de cuisine when I worked for him. He was like 25. I was 20, 21, and his brother at the time was still in high school. So a lot of dishwashers at table 52 were all these high school kids from the southeast side.
Yeah.
And one of them was his brother, Ruben. We call him Geach. And Geach, he was Ray's little shithead brother.
Yeah.
And so, eventually, Ruben got into cooking. And then eventually I ended up hiring Ruben to be one of my cooks at Spiaggia. Yeah. Which is wild. And then, now Ruben's running pizza-friendly pizza here for Noah Sandoval. So it's like crazy, you know what I mean? It's just goes full circle where it's his brother gave me a job, and then I gave him a job, and now he's, kind of put on.
Yeah.
But so it's been amazing, seeing what they do, and to see how to just really.
I mean, I'm watching, cooks that have worked for me, and they're going and realizing their dreams of working at the restaurants that, and they're like, oh, thanks so much for, giving me this sentiment, or it's shit that sometimes you don't even remember saying to them, and then they're like, oh, you really said this, and they really, they're like, oh, okay, well, must be doing something right.
Right, yeah, that's wow. Somebody's like, I remember you said this, and you're like, oh, shit.
What else did you remember?
Right, you're like, and you try, and I think it's, like everything else, it's easier to remember the times you fucked up, right?
Oh, for sure, 100%.
And it's you get 100 reviews in a day, you're only going to read the one bad one.
Exactly.
And so it's I remember, every time I was a dickhead for 5.5 years, I was at Spiaggia or lost my cool, and it's whatever, and it's so I think it's giving yourself, the grace of knowing that hopefully you atoned for it. Made up for it, and that you did more good
than bad.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because it's and I think I just didn't realize how much I was learning.
Yeah,
and trying to and that's what I try to be more transparent with my cooks about that.
Yeah,
when I was there, and show them that vulnerability of hey, I'm also trying to figure this out.
Yeah,
as much as you're trying to figure out your station, I'm trying to figure out my station being running this restaurant.
Yeah.
And I'm doing my best, and I make mistakes, and these are the mistakes I made.
Yeah.
And so we would do a weekly roundtable, and that was always a part of that
honesty table. Love that.
Of just hey, I didn't have my best service tonight on the board. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you know what I mean? I kind of, that second turn, I got a little jumbled. Somebody was talking to me. This happened, and I fucked that up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you know, like, crew. That was, you know, that's on me. And,
Yeah.
You know, I'll be better. And, you know, this is, you know, sorry we didn't, or, you know, didn't have this ingredient for you or whatever it was. And so I think that's, you know, that's important.
It's good to always follow up.
I think it's just, you know, especially like, you know, when we were coming up in this, the chefs were so stoic that they never showed, you know, vulnerability.
Yeah. You left work and you were like hating yourself because no one talked you off the ledge.
Right. And I just remember, like fucking taking the red line home at like 2:30 in the morning, just sitting on the train by myself. Like, it's like a Friday night, all my friends are out, and I'm just like,
I'm never going to make it.
I'm just being yelled at for 14 hours about like what a piece of shit I am. I'm like, you know, and you're like, you're like, at least I made $47 today. You know, like, you know, it's like, you're like, what am I doing? Like, and I think there was, you know, there's a lot of that, but I think, you know, it's Piaget. I just came to the realization of like, this shouldn't be. This is hard, right?
Yeah.
What we do.
Yeah.
This is hard work. It's gonna be hard work. That's not gonna change. You got to come in and you got to push and you got to want it and you have to hold yourself to a standard. And if you're not going to do any of that, then fucking you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's it. The fucking road ahead is hard work. That's the win. Every time. But, like, it also shouldn't be the worst part of your fucking day.
Yeah.
Like, you should be here because you want to do this.
Exactly.
And that was, I think, something I realized. I remember it was just one point that hit me at Spiaggia, and I was like, I'm working with people I don't want to work with, and I'm now at a point in my career where I'm in control of who I want to work with. So why is there anyone here
that I don't want to work with?
Because I don't want to work with them, and I think I'm a pretty fucking easygoing guy.
Yeah.
I was like, imagine how fucking miserable they're making people who aren't their boss.
Yeah.
Who are their peers. Like, how are they talking to them? If they're fucking talking to me like this. And that, you know, changed everything for us. And that's when we changed our hiring process after that. I had one guy who I just, you know what I mean? This is the closest I think I had come to hitting a person in the kitchen in my life.
Yeah.
It just was toxic, horrible.
Got you.
And it was to everyone. And it was just one day, I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, hey, they just sat him down. I said, you get 2 weeks to find a new job. So I can't work with you.
Well, at least you give him 2 weeks. God damn.
You know, like, I can't work with you.
Yeah.
I come in and, you know, I like I see your name on the schedule and it fucking gives me stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I doing? What am I doing to myself? This is insane.
Yeah.
So after that, we had the process up. You have a stage, come in, end the stage, pull them off the line. The line butts. They hire people, I don't.
Yeah.
Everybody's in on them, they're in. One person's out on them, they're out. It's a unanimous decision. And so it's, like, you know, it's just a matter of like, because it's like they're the ones who really have to deal with them.
Yeah.
You know, because you know how it is. Like, you know, people, like, they'll say one thing, you know, when they're in front of the chef, act a certain way.
Yep.
But it's like, I don't care. I want the way they are with those cooks.
With the
I want
cooks,
them to know
exactly.
They're a good fit for our culture.
I'm going to be able to be
and that
real.
they're going to be like nice and respectful and work hard, but have fun and like, but also not like, you know, it's like this. We don't do this dickhead bullshit machismo shit.
Yeah.
Like, we're just not. Like, there's never been a place for it, and it's like we work too hard for it not to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like, hard and enjoyable don't have to be the opposite of each other. You know what I mean? It can be hard and good.
Yeah.
And it should be that you're busting your ass and you're organized and your systems are set up in a way that when it's go time, like, we're going to kick fucking ass, and it's fun when you're winning. And you're kicking fucking ass. And you're like, I know I have enough shit. I know I have enough support. I know I have whatever I need to succeed. That's fun. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if you're setting yourself up for that, it's what it should be. And then it's not, you know, a bullshit fucking, you know, like people screaming at each other and talking out. It's like
talking shit behind each other's back and making clicks. It's too much.
Right. It's like,
it's too much.
It's just food.
Yeah, it's just food, guys.
It's future poop.
Yeah.
It's future poop, dog. Like, chill.
Future poop.
Like,
so after you changed that culture, how long did you stay at the restaurant?
I was there for probably about 3 years.
And then what made you make the decision to step out?
So I did Top Chef.
So that happened during that time?
Yeah.
So explain that.
So you know, I worked for Steph, she obviously went on Top Chef. She won.
Yeah.
I worked for Art Smith, who had done Top Chef Masters. Tony had done Top Chef Masters. So I had a few connections to that world. you know, you always heard about like castings going on in town.
Yeah.
They come through, you know, because they come through once a year and they, you know, throw the net out. They say, you know, who wants to do it. So one year they were in Chicago. I didn't even know they were here or didn't remember. And Tony calls me. He's like, hey, he's like, you at the restaurant? I was like, yeah. He's like, the producers from Top Chef are in town. He's like, they called me. They said, you know, they were casting here. They didn't meet anybody. They wanted to cast, and they asked if I knew anyone. I told them they should come meet you. And I was like, all right. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. He's like, I know. He's like, but just take a meeting. He's like, there's no harm in taking a meeting.
Yeah.
He's like, you'd be good at it. I was like, I don't know. I was like, all right, you know, whatever. I'm like, I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I was like, send them over. So they show up, and these two ladies, and I talked to them for like a half hour. And I'm like, you know, I feel like I'm just like a wildly typical person. So I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I'm just like some fucking, you know, white dude from the south side of
just a
Chicago
man.
who, like, you know, likes making pasta and, like, drinking beer and, like, you know, hanging out and, like, you know, the Bears.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, and but the lady was like, she told me, she's like, you got to do this. She's like, you got to, you know, do the interview process. Yeah. And so it's a long process. But I had other friends who'd done it and got really far in it and never made it. And I was like, you know.
Really?
And so, you know, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. They're not going to have me on the show, but fine. You know, she's telling me to go through the process. I talked to my wife. She was like, go. She's like, try it. She's like, it works with this timing in your life. You know, we didn't have kids yet at the point.
Yeah.
And, you know, my job was supportive of it. So I was like, all right. So, you know, you start sending stuff in. You send them a bunch of photos and menus. So I get through round one. They're like, okay, now we need, like, videos of you and this stuff. You're like, okay. You get through round two. Okay. And then, you know, round three is where a lot of my friends have made it to, where it's like you sent the videos and stuff. And,
yeah.
And you kind of do the Skype interview, and then you're like, you know. So I made it to that point. And I was like, all right, this is probably where they'll cut me. They make it through that. They're like, we need you to fly out to L.A. and do an in-person interview, and you have to do a psych and a doctor exam. But I had already had a trip planned, so I was like, I can't come. I was like, I'm going to Italy. Because I had set up stashes in Italy. So I was like, no, I'm going to Italy. I can't do it. Like, sorry. They're like, all right, you can go to a doctor in Chicago, and, like, we'll Skype you from Italy.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. And I still, at this point, I was like, this is fucking silly. They're not going to have me on. I remember I went to the psych exam. I went to this guy's, like, house. So I pull up. It's just, like, 500-question test. And, you know, we talked for a while at the end of it.
Yeah.
Really strange guy. And he was, like, retired, and he gave me a piece of pottery at the end of it. And, he goes...
like a therapist session.
Yeah, and he goes, at the end of it, he goes, they must want you on the show. And I go, why do you think that? He's like, you're definitely going to be on. Like, why? He's like, because I'm so fucking expensive. I was like, what? He's like, the amount of money they had to pay me to do this, he's like, there's no way they would have spent it if you weren't going to be on the show. And I was like, and that was like the first time it kind of clicked in my head, like, well, this might actually happen.
Yeah.
But then it happens quick, so like, that was March. I go to Italy, I get back, it's April, I hadn't heard anything. Third week of April, I get a call, and they're like, hey, this is, you know, Top Chef, you're on the show. Like, we need you to be in Denver May 5th. So, this is April 21st.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Like, so they're like, you're in? I'm like, yeah, I guess. So I'm like, call my wife. I'm like, I have to go. And I'm like, I'm going to be gone for 2 months. And you can't tell anyone where you're going.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks, I have to figure out, like, my cover story for work. I have to, you know, I told my boss, I told my sous chefs, because they had to fucking know. I couldn't just leave them.
Like, I'm going to break my leg in 2 weeks. I won't be...
Right. So, you know, we covered this cover story of that. I'm going down to Florida to work at one of Tony's other restaurants. I was reconcepting and help him out there for a couple months, and I'd be back. And that's what I told, you know, I didn't tell, you know, my siblings where I was going. I didn't tell my aunts and uncles. I told my parents. You know, I obviously told my wife. I told some friends. But for the most part, people thought I was in Florida. But you have no phone access. They take your phone first day, so you can't connect.
So you don't know what the hell's going on.
No clue. And so you just disappear. So I'm gone for 2 months. So it's like, you know, like, to the point where it's like a month in, my grandmother is like, where's Joe? She's like, he should be here. Like, why is he not with his wife? Why is she not going to visit? Like, people thought like we were like getting divorced or something.
Yeah.
So my grandma was like, I'm gonna go like it was good.